everybody, CW here. I figured I would revisit the zinc 300 blackout zinc bullets. So we shot all these the other day. I'm sure most of you watched the video. So I loaded up 5 of each, and I only shot 3 of most of them. And then we had those 2 duds. And speaking of those 2 duds, they were not a problem with the gun. They were actually dud primers. Because as you can see, those are deep dents. So they should have gone off. Nothing wrong with the firearm. Those were just bad primers. How and what they were, they look like these Winchester 41s that I picked up a couple years ago. But don't know. They're copper, so brass colored. Again, revisiting here. So we know what our powder is. N130 or 120 rather. And one other nice thing about zinc bullets, if you don't know or realize, powder coated lead bullets are a bugger to pull. You can do them with a kinetic. That's about the only reliable way. These collet style that I prefer don't really work. That powder coating is so slippery, and usually the bullets are softer, so you end up squishing them, and you squish them to the point where they won't hold. They're too small in diameter, so you have to use a smaller collet, and then you have to use a smaller collet. It's a dumpster fire. But these zinc bullets, as you'll see here, this is a RCBS collet puller. Whoops, the first one to fail on me. Of course it does it on video. And our die is moving. I thought I had that tightened down enough. You want to make sure that your die is good and socked down in the press for these, because you're really wrenching back and forth. But the nice thing is there's 0 damage, 0 squishing of the bullet, 0 anything. You can absolutely use these over again, and we're using everything over. So I'm stacking the cases that are primed in the back. We're going to load them with the same powder, so if there's a kernel or 3 left in there, it's not going to hurt anything. We're going to load only going to load the 16 grain load. That's the faster of the 2 that shot really good. 14 was just a little bit better accuracy wise, but all things equal, I'll take a little more velocity and end up with a little flatter trajectory if I stretch them out, and that's my intent. I want to shoot these out at 100 and then out at 200 and see what happens. See if we can maintain good accuracy out there at 200 yards using everything the same. So the next loading will be same bullets, same powder, some of the exact same cases, and we're going to stretch the yardage to 100 and then 200. It might be a few, either it's going to be right away or it's going to be a few months for the 200 yard, because the way my range works, I don't want to walk that far. I can, it hurts, it bothers me. So I'll drive down. But you can't drive down in the springtime because there's some bad drainage back there, and they don't want any vehicles down there because they make big ruts or they could get stuck. So I can go down there when it's frozen, but right now we got 16 inches or 14 inches of snow on the ground and no tracks back there to 200 yards, and they don't plow it. It's just a dirt road, just an access road. So hopefully by next week that snow will be gone, but it won't be warm enough to have thawed the ground. So as long as the ground stays frozen, I can drive back there. I can always walk, but I don't want to walk that far. If I got somebody with me who's willing to walk, maybe that could be a difference. But if it's just me, it's going to be a little bit of time before I can get down there if I can't drive. A little bit of powder sticks to the base of the bullet on some of these. So you notice me just wiping it off. And a little bit sticks in the case. And that's why I'm tapping it. So I'm going to probably load up. I'll probably load full 50. Andy's giving me a goodly supply of these bullets to test, so I should have plenty. These ones here have a dud primer, so we'll throw them aside. And there we go. I was kind of excited that I was able to normally pull these because I was kind of dreading using the whack-a-mole. I don't like it. I don't like it. It's all right for one dud, you know, one bad bullet or something. But when you've got a whole bunch to recover like that, it's just not interesting to me. It's not something that I want to be doing. This morning I pulled, while I deprimed, a good 250 military 30-06s, and it made a mess of my press. So here's another little tip for you. One of these cheap chip brushes, keep them on your bench. Keep them in a drawer. You can dust things off and clean things up. And something that I got from Viejo, Walter, is these little blowers. These are made for inflators. Battery powered. They got a nice breeze, and they're really good for blowing things off, blowing the dust off, blowing things out. They don't destroy your bench blowing things like crazy like a high power air blower would, but they're just enough to move dust particles or powder or primers, light stuff that you might want to blow off, dust, you know, if you were sanding, stuff like that. Blow it right off your bench, and last forever with these batteries. Still got a full battery, and this thing has been down here for probably 2 months, month and a half. This is a cheap Bauer. I think I got this for $9.99, $11.99, something like that. So cheap enough. Batteries are all it cost you, and if you already got the tools, you already have the batteries. So let me reset up here and get some brass out and get going. But I just want to show you that regular collet style bullet puller, and if you haven't seen them, that's the collet. You get them in calibers, and it squeezes down with the outside diameter. It squeezes down to pinch your bullet, so it leaves no marks on it, and you use the bullet over again, no problem. They're a little expensive. These collets are probably, well, I used to get them for $6, $7, but they're probably 20 bucks a piece now. But it's just another way you can pull bullets, and it works really well. It's my favorite way to pull them. And this is an RCBS tool. Just threads in the back of the collet, and when you tighten it down, it pulls it up in and pinches. So it works really good. All right, everybody. That's all I want to show you. God bless everybody. CW out.